Trojan Sports Now.
After some needed time off with the bye week, the football team will be back on the road looking to stay alive in the conference title hunt. Will be back on the road looking for a strong start to the second half of the season, but they'll have to do it against a team with some of the conference's best on both sides of the ball. The Trojan offense is the strong point of the team, and their biggest concern might be Hilltoppers linebacker Xavius Boyd, who was awarded Sunbelt Defensive Player of the Week 3 weeks in a row this year, a first by anyone in the conference.
They've been the best in the conference over the past couple of years, defensive-wise. So they've got some good players at linebacker, number 4, and the free safety, number 1. NFL prospects, apparently. So we got to go up there and play a good football game and know where those guys are at all times.
But on the other side of the ball, the Hilltoppers have one of the nation's best in the backfield, running back Antonio Andrews. Against Louisiana Lafayette, Andrews became the first in the nation to eclipse the 1,000-yard mark this season.
As a defense, we're very excited to be able to face them. We know they're going to run the ball with that pro-style offense. So, we can't wait. It's a challenge.
A lot of people don't know, but we're real physical up front, so I kind of welcome that. So it's just going to who's more physical up front.
This will be homecoming for Western Kentucky, but for Trojan quarterback Corey Robinson, it's a bit of a homecoming as well. The Paducah, Kentucky native will be back in his home state, and he'll have the opportunity to take on Hilltoppers wide receiver Jamariel Brown, who was his teammate in high school and became part of the Robinson family.
He moved in with us in high school. He was my best receiver, obviously, in my high school, and we've grown into basically brothers. He's lived with us, still to this day, man, and I consider him, one of my best friends, if not my best friend, and he's just a really, really great guy and a good football player, and I hope he has about 300 yards on us, but I hope we win in the end. I gotta hope he does well all the time.
Well, and of course, if you remember, Robinson coming into Troy from his senior year of high school, one of the best in the country, had 91 touchdown throws on that season, and 27 of those were actually to his teammate or his brother, Brown, as he calls him. And, it makes for an interesting storyline, of course, and, that's something journalists are always looking for, that feature story, and having those brothers playing against each other, it makes for an interesting contest.
Well, he's got to hope his brother does well, but we don't. I hope he's held to 0 catches, because that means our secondary's really stepped up, and that's something they're going to have to do this week. Western Kentucky's really known for their turnovers. I believe it was against Tennessee this year. They had 5 straight possessions with a turnover. I think it was 5 turnovers in 6 plays against Tennessee. I think they lead, if not the Sun Belt, the nation in turnovers.
I know that Brandon Dowdy, their quarterback there at Western Kentucky, has thrown 12 interceptions this season. 10 of those have come in the team's 3 losses. 5 of them were against Tennessee, like you were mentioning. And, if you can get up there and get the ball, then you've got a pretty good chance to win against them.
But that's something the Trojans have had problems doing so far this year. We've only gotten 3 interceptions. One of those came against Savannah State late in the game. It was kind of just a give-me play.
Right.
But a big one for Chris Pickett, his first in his career against Georgia State, that kind of helped give the Trojans the ball to help secure that game. So the Trojans are going to have to do something in that area, try to force some turnovers, because they're going to have a hard time completely stopping Antonio Andrews. They may limit him, but they're not going to completely stop him. He's going to get his yards. There's a reason he's the nation's leading rusher.
Absolutely. He's had several phenomenal performances back to back to back, and he's had a 1,000-yard season last year as a junior. Of course, he was behind Bobby Rainey with Western Kentucky, so Western's always had a very good running attack as far as with those running backs, but Andrews isn't just a threat out of the backfield. He's somebody that can catch it running out of the backfield. He can also return punts and kickoffs, and I know that's something that Coach Blakeney was touching on at the press conference earlier in the week, is that he might be a threat on the ground, but you got to watch out for him at every other position as well.
You're exactly right. They're going to have to contain him. Mark Wilson, Troy's middle linebacker, is going to have to do a good job of containing him, as well as the secondary is going to have to do their job containing the receivers initially. That's going to be a big part. But not only defensively, we're going to have to step up. The offense is going to have to play well. They've played well, but just not consistently all year long. They've had great runs during a game, but then they'll have a drive where they go 3 and out, or a couple of drives in a row. So they're going to have a really good game against Western Kentucky to help come out with this victory as well.
Well, and they had 102 plays against Georgia State, but then only got 35 points, and that was something that Corey Robinson had brought up at the press conference, was that you can have all those plays, but you got to make them count at the end, and you got to get the points and finish those drives, and that is something that the Trojans have struggled with.
You're exactly right, and I saw a stat earlier today. Troy is 4-1-1 all time against Western Kentucky, or maybe it was at Western Kentucky. The loss came the last time we were up there, and
Right.
It was not a pretty loss at all. They
was a
beat
tough
us.
one.
They beat us soundly. So Troy's going to have to come back this year. It's going to be their homecoming. But I also read that in home games recently that Western Kentucky in their last 33 home games they're 9-22, or in the last
Wow.
31 home games they're 9-22. So I mean something's got to give. One team's got to really step up and show what they can do and really step up for the victory.
Well, absolutely. Of course, the Trojans have lost the last two against Western Kentucky, but Corey Robinson was saying that he got his brother the first time around in 2010, lost the next two, but hopefully the older brother is going to have the victory on Saturday. But kickoff in Bowling Green against Western Kentucky will be at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon.
All right, and the soccer team will wrap up its regular season schedule this weekend as it faces the Sunbelt's Louisiana schools. Thursday, Troy plays its final home game against Louisiana Monroe, and then Sunday, the Trojans hit the road. Troy will be in Lafayette Sunday as they finish out the year against a raging Cajun team that sits at the top of the Sunbelt standings. While Troy has already locked up a spot in the tournament, this weekend's games could have a big impact on seeding.
Well, if we play out, we'll finish third. That's a tough pill to swallow because we had a tough weekend the weekend before with Western Kentucky and Georgia State. We were a couple posts and really a goal call back out of first. So that's tough to swallow. But at the same time, I think the win that we had here just against South really proved and gave them a lot of confidence and it showed what we can do, certainly at home. So I think that's great for us. Moving forward, I think we're playing probably for third and shooting for that.
Well, the cross-country team may not be in action this weekend, but that doesn't mean the team isn't still gearing up for the championship season. The Sunbelt Cross-Country Championships are a week from Saturday, and head coach Jeff Jenkins says his team will have the advantage being on their home course.
Usually the Sunbelt meet is a short week because we're going to leave on a Thursday and compete on a Saturday. So we don't like to race on Saturday and then train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then travel on Thursday. The good thing is there's no traveling. So we're right here at home, sleeping in our own beds, eating in our own dining hall and everything. So those kind of stresses of travel and staying in a hotel and eating out other places is going to be taken away. That's a good thing. But again, running our home course on our home territory, that's always good to have, defending the Trojan territory.
The volleyball team has an unusual schedule this weekend that will involve some quick traveling. On Friday, Troy will be in Little Rock, Arkansas to face the Trojans of UALR. Troy faced Little Rock earlier in the year in Troy and fell in 5 sets. Little Rock is in second in the league at 7-2 in the Sun Belt and 15-6 overall. Friday's matchup is at 7. Then the Trojans have to hurry back to Troy as they will face Texas State on Sunday in Trojan Arena. Troy is coming off a loss to the Bobcats last weekend, so the Trojans are familiar with both teams and think they have a chance to pick up a couple of wins.
The nice thing about going to Texas last weekend is even though we're going to be on a bus to Arkansas this weekend, we went on a lot longer trip last weekend. So this should feel fairly easy and what we're used to. Then we just have to make sure we're ready for Little Rock on Friday, and we've got a really good Texas State team on Sunday. So we need to be at our best to try to get a win or two.
Well, we heard from Coach Shanda Rigby earlier in the program, and her team will be in action in an exhibition game on Monday, October 28th at 7 p.m. in Trojan Arena against West Florida. And the men's basketball team will take the court for the first time under the leadership of Phil Cunningham for an exhibition Tuesday night at 7 against Victory University, also in Trojan Arena.
The men's tennis team will be in action next week as they travel to Pensacola for the ITF USA F29 Futures. The matches begin next Monday.
Now it's time to take a look at the Trojans in the pros. OCU Manura had 4 tackles in the Falcons' win over Tampa Bay. It was the Falcons' second win of the year, and they'll look for number 3 on Sunday when they travel to Arizona.
Jonathan Massaquoi had 3 tackles, including half a sack in that win over the Buccaneers. Massaquoi will look to take down Carson Palmer in Arizona.
Leotis McKelvin made 2 tackles as the Buffalo Bills picked up the win against the Dolphins on Sunday. McKelvin also returned 2 punts for a total of 14 yards. The Bills will travel to the Big Easy Sunday to face the Saints.
Darrell Jernigan was the primary kickoff returner for the Giants as they picked up their first win of the season on Monday against the Vikings. Jernigan had 2 returns for a total of 25 yards, and the Giants traveled to Philly on Sunday.
Mario Addison had 1 tackle Sunday as the Panthers evened their record with a win over the Rams. This week, the Panthers face Tampa Bay on Thursday Night Football.
Steve McClendon had 3 tackles as the Steelers have now won 2 in a row, beating Baltimore on Sunday. The Steelers travel out west Sunday to face the Raiders. And that's all the time we have for Trojan Sports Now. You can watch us online at the Troy University YouTube page to catch anything you missed.
For Jonathan Sellers, I'm Danielle Percival. Thanks for watching, and as always,
Go Trojans.
Trojan Sports Now.